Hey everyone, Eric Beans here, CEO of Texting Base. This is how I work, lazy boy and t-shirt during the days when I don't have to go meet with people. So today I'm going to talk about autoresponders. We've been rolling out a lot of automation recently, text automation, marketing automation tools for our clients and really for the future because as we've gone through this whole exercise of building a text marketing automation platform, we've realized there's a lot of holes and a lot of different solutions that texting can offer. I personally don't like being on hold. I don't like dial by name, push one, push two for service type things. Find them to be inefficient. Plus, my cell phone service may go out. I may have to start over. There's a huge opportunity for texting to take over some of those interactions between customers and businesses. So that's what we built. So let me talk about our autoresponders. In a typical auto-response world, you get a 5-digit code called a short code. And with that short code, you set up certain keywords, and the keywords are shared amongst thousands of different customers. So the short code number, unless you pay a lot of money a month, usually between $2,000 and $3,000 a month for a dedicated short code number, you're sharing that with a whole bunch of people. That means that number can switch from time to time. It also means that you may not get the keywords you want. So if you want something like NFL for NFL Sunday or pound 123, odds are pretty good they're taken. So you may end up with pound 9970, which is not quite as memorable, or NFL 0821, something like that, because they're shared with so many people. Now, if people misspell that word, you don't get the response. So that's why you buy a whole bunch of keywords, and you might buy some that are similar to account for misspellings. Plus, if somebody responds to you at that point, you now know their number. They've now responded back to you, but how do you get back to them? It's not bidirectional. So if they wanted to ask you a question in a typical keyword environment, you have to pick up the phone and call them, which, if anybody's involved in texting, there's almost no worse etiquette in the world than starting on a text and saying, hey, we're texting, and then now all of a sudden, hey, we got to move to a phone call. It's taboo in the world of texting. If you start texting, you stay texting. You don't just say, hey, let's call each other. So there's a lot of limitations there. Nobody can ask questions. There's no flow of engagement. Nobody's going to add a 5-digit number into their phone unless it's to block you. So with our system, we wanted to focus on, how do you set up these flows, these chains, keep control over the conversation, and not lose any of the data or information. So what we built has unlimited keywords. It's a dedicated channel with a regular phone number, no 5-digit numbers. If somebody says, I've got a question, and they ask it, you get that question and you can respond back. If they respond with your keyword, it will trigger out that keyword, and you can even personalize the auto response back. That will also block that particular response from going back to that person. So in other words, people can't get duplicate responses through our system. You can set up a flow so that as they continue to respond and engage, additional responses are triggered out. So there's a lot of different aspects and things you can use it for. You can use it for dial by name directories. Press 1 for service, 2 for sales. If you're a realtor, you can put it on your rider, have people push #1 for property that you have, 1212 Johnny Street to kick off virtual tours. You could use it for customer support. Hey, you have building questions? Great. You want to schedule something? Here's our schedule, and trigger out that automation. It should capture over 50%, maybe upwards to 80% of your customer interactions if you set it up properly. And then, of course, the other 20%, 50% will be human-based, where you can jump in and engage with customers personally. There are options in our keyword response because it is your own channel. Excuse, I have a cough. With a keyword channel, you have unlimited keywords. Somebody misspells it, you still get that response, which is very, a nice feature to have, because people do misspell things from time to time, let's say quite often. Another nice feature is you could set the system up to read the specific keyword. It's not case sensitive, so if they go all caps or all lowercase, doesn't matter. You can set it up where they have to type in the specific keyword, or they have to start a sentence with a specific keyword, or you can do what's called inclusive. And inclusive means even if they put it in a sentence, even if they say, for example, let's say you have the keyword sales and somebody responds and says, I'm very interested in sales. Typically, in a typical keyword environment, they wouldn't be able to respond that way. In our system, you could have an inclusive where because they said the word sales in the sentence, it would trigger out the keyword response for sales to that person. So it's a very flexible way to do it. And again, it can be sequential. So you can guide people through your funnel of responses, much like you guide them through a sales funnel or other type of funnel in your business, to be able to get your customers engaged as much as they can. Again, customers love this because they're not on hold. They can text back and forth whenever it's convenient. They don't have to sit there hoping that their service doesn't go out. So you really have an opportunity to engage them. And studies show that most people, 64% was the last study I saw, prefer to text over email or phone calls. Again, it's a regular phone number from any area code with our system. So that's kind of nice as well. You can include videos, you can include images, pictures, emojis. You can personalize. So you could say, hey, insert first name. So if I, Eric, text in, it says, hey, Eric, here's your options, which is a nice feature to have as well. The system runs on a 30-second period. So on average, the average response time is about 15 seconds. So it feels more conversational. Sometimes when you get those autoresponders that are super, super fast, you're like, okay, it's a computer, and you don't want to fool people, but at the same token, you want to provide a nice, fluid, conversational back and forth, especially considering there is a human element. Eventually, the person that is the texting base account holder often does get in and engage and start to deal with them directly. So it's a nice combination of automation and human interaction that provides the best sort of customer experience that you can possibly provide back and forth. You can set up unlimited responses, unlimited keywords. You can pause them, you can edit them. So it's completely flexible. There is a master response that isn't keyword dependent that will just go out automatically to everybody that responds if you want to set it up. Or you can set up, I should say, or you can set up the keyword responses as well. And then once it comes back in, it's just a regular back and forth conversation, just like you'd be texting with a friend. Only it's through our portal as opposed to directly through your phone. It's through a website over your phone potentially, or through your computer. So it's a good way to set up some direct communications as well. And the beauty again is you're not changing platforms to continue the conversation. Everything continues through the same platform. So after they're out through the automation stage, it's just you and them chatting back and forth. So that's what we're bringing to the table. It's a whole new level of automation. We have a lot of new features coming along with this particular feature to help you drill down into your data, do a better job of being able to automate personal communication with a large number of people. Typically, that would have been impossible to do, and to do it in a way where you're going to get people where they have their phones, which is directly through text messaging. But thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it. We have a lot more coming. As always, we have free trials, no contracts. So feel free to check us out, take us for a test drive. Make sure it's fit for you. We'll take good care of you. As always, thanks so much. Have a great day.